So the other day I was driving and I looked in the car next to it and there's a little girl in the back. She's got her feet up on the back of her seat of her mom or dad. It's got her feet up on the back of the headrest of the seat, chilling in the back in her car seat. She's got an iPhone in her hand. She's got nail polish on. She's got glasses and everything. I think we treat our kids better in some ways nowadays. Um,
Because we have better technology.
no, no,
It's
it's
easier
not the
to teach it
technology. I
better.
know in some ways, but also I think the technology. I mean, I don't know what the long term effects of having that phone in there. There's people up in Silicon Valley that spend a lot of time. It's a thing called brain hacking, where they use these iPhones. This was on 60 Minutes. I'm not conspiracy theory guy. That doesn't mean it's not necessarily a conspiracy, but it's a mainstream conspiracy. They use brain hacking. So this phone right here, when I get an email, it jolts my hand a little, and it makes certain imprints in my brain, and
Your hand
that's
shakes a little,
yeah. So
or your pocket,
yeah,
whatever it
and
is.
it makes certain sounds that people are addicted to the likes that they're getting on Facebook and a lot of those different things. So I'm not necessarily in tune, even though the little kid's playing a video game on there. I'm not necessarily in tune that that's something that they're doing. Or 10 years ago when I said a lot of these millennials, they're like texting their parents every time they have a problem instead of solving the problem themselves. I was even thinking that as being effective. Or when I was in college, um, we're going to get to questions for you. When I was in
That's
college,
okay. Go
one of
ahead.
my, one
You're
of my
doing great.
one of my friends that was a teacher was he was we were still in college, but he was like going in there, and the students got to use calculators when they were doing their regular additions to do it. And I know the world's changing, and I know we're all trying to have questions for it. But some of these things, it's good to be able to like be able to sit somewhere without your cell phone and be disconnected, so you can develop like other parts of your intelligence and wisdom by throwing yourself in real situations instead of trying to pay attention to everything that other people are doing. How do you feel being 75 or approaching 75, that that that's shaping us as humans? Not necessarily in the specifics, but
That's very deep, Steve. I like that. The world is changing. Remember that, folks. When I was a little boy, my father used to take me for walks. We used to drive out in the country. It was easy. Country maybe a few blocks away, and just look at around the scenery. Now I see people walking. For example, they have their nose in their phone, and they're watching some show or watching something or another, and they're totally oblivious to what's around them. There's a lot of interesting houses, plants, flowers, the sky to see if you look. But if the only thing you look at is a little 3x4 or 2x3 in your hand that you're watching, I think you miss an awful lot. And I think kids are missing an awful lot. And they may be gaining something, but I think they're losing out on other things too.
and that's what I say, because a lot of these platforms, like these social media platforms, are are free. And when I say they don't care about you or they don't care about us, I'm saying is, if you asked them, said, hey, this might be affecting children, they're thinking about their bottom line and they're thinking about their survival, not to a level that a Hitler would have done it or a Stalin would have done it, but they're thinking of their level of survival in some way that that is inflicting us to not go out and live our dreams and do it. Like, you may see some motivational videos. You may watch this video and it may inspire you. Yes, I'm using a platform to do this. I know the importance of it. I own websites that I know the importance of this. But at the end of the day, are we feeling better about ourselves, and are we evolving as humans? Are we evolving to catch up with the technology?
Well, I hope they are, but between Hitler and Stalin, Hitler was great with propaganda, and he probably would have himself on the internet, and it would be you had to listen to what he had to say. He had loudspeakers all over the towns, and he would be on the internet. You couldn't get anybody with Hitler, or somebody that's saying how wonderful he is. But I think that's what Hitler would have done. Stalin, on the other hand, wasn't so big on propaganda. He used a little, but he would just had it so that nobody could have an internet. And that's one reason their country was as backward as it was, they couldn't even make copies. Back when the only way of passing around information was a copying machine, and you made copies of something and you gave it to people, and you had to have a permit and get special permission to copy something because he's afraid of what might be out there. Underground newspapers were around, but it was very difficult, and you could be sent to Siberia, as millions of people were.
So bringing it back is like, okay, what's the takeaway point for people? How
takeaway point?
Yeah, like the takeaway. How can people get back to instead of like trying to be on their phone all the time? I mean, what are some better solutions? You talk like walking with your family and everything like that. Because I believe it's like this is unhealthy to the point. Like, the only time I don't leave this in my car, like I didn't want this to be too hot in my car. That's the only reason I brought it in here. That's the only time to do it. And I didn't have one of these before I started doing Uber, because I had to have one of these to do Uber. I didn't have one before, and I had no intentions of getting one.
You know, they say that texting or watching the internet while you're driving has the same effect of driving drunk, because there are so many accidents with people on the phone, texting, reading, not paying attention to the road. Which, if you have a 2,000 or 3,000 pound vehicle or more, that's a killing machine.
So they're acknowledging that this, like, it's the term's distracted driving, but also being distracted in your life. Like walking around, people will do a texting on, but what are you missing at because you're distracted by paying attention to the smartphone? What are you missing out in your personal life? Are you going to go talk to that person that might be your future wife? Are you going to apply at that school to change your life? Are you going to take that class? Are you going to go out there and meet new friends that take your consciousness and your attitude to a higher level? Or are you just going to be stuck on your phone watching people do that? I think it comes down to that.
You have all sorts of possibilities there.
Yeah.
Some good, some not so good. And that's the way life is now. It makes me wonder what's next.
Yes. Yes. The question is, and we'll end with this, will we evolve to catch up with the technology?
Some of us will. Some of us won't.
That's brilliant. Some of us will and some of us won't. Well, thank you very much, and
My
I look
pleasure,
forward to
Steve.
doing this. Looking forward to doing this again, and have a good one. Peace.
Yeah. You have a good 2.
Oh, nice.
Not just 1, 2.
I wanted a good 3, but good 2 will be okay. Peace.